Topic 1.2. What was the impact of imperial expansion on international relations? So to begin with, the scramble of Africa was obviously going to lead to a lot of issues in between a lot of the European countries as they tried to conquest it. First example would be the Fashoda incident, in which both France and Britain found each other in the town of Fashoda in Sudan when they were trying to get more territory. They almost went to war but were able to find a peaceful resolution for the issue. This is Kaiser Wilhelm II, and he was the leader of Germany during the scramble for Africa. He was involved in many issues as well as a naval race with Britain. The Entente Cordiale was basically strengthened Anglo-French friendship in the scramble for Africa. This would be seen as a threat by none other than Kaiser Wilhelm, who would see it as a threat to his own ambitions in the scramble for Africa. And so he encouraged Moroccan independence, which was a French colony, in order to hurt France. This led to the Algeciras crisis, in which Moroccans were striving for independence. However, it was stopped by the British and the French, as well as the Agadir crisis, in which Germany tried to take France's territory forcefully. However, the British and the French stopped them again by bringing boats against Germany's boats, and Germany had to back out. Now let's talk about China. China was weak industrially, as they were scared that industrialization would lose their traditions. This made them susceptible to the Opium Wars, in which Britain forcefully traded and imported opium into China in order to get a good to sell to them in order to get Chinese goods. China eventually became a country with an open door policy, in which every country could just take parts and claim them as trading territory. China, whenever they tried to fight against this in the Boxer Rebellion, were defeated by an 8-nation alliance, which only ruined the chance for Chinese to fight against foreigners involved in the territory. Now onto the Boer Wars. The Boer Wars were basically against the Boers, who used to be people in Cape Colony when British took it from Dutch colonies. The first Boer War was them fighting for sovereignty of Orange Free State and Transvaal, which the British wanted for materials, and the Boers won the first time around. However, when the British went to go fight again for the second time, the British decided that they were going to employ concentration camps and scorched earth tactics, which were very harsh tactics. This eventually led to the British victory of the Second Boer War, and the British was faced with some heavy criticism for how they were able to win, especially for being seen as weak compared to Boers the first time around. The Berlin Conference was basically how European countries were going to establish splitting up Africa. You had to station your military and publicly announce that you were going to take that area in order to make sure that everyone had free claims equally. And that's a wrap for Unit 1.